think there's different types of beauty. I think there's the beauty that society kind of stuffs in our face of tall, skinny models that have everything perfect. And then I think there's not necessarily a normal beauty, but the beauty that you see in people around you. So I don't know that I really have a standard definition for beauty, but
I think what it means is if you can find your personal well-being to be beautiful and you have a positive attitude about who you are, just whatever makes you happy, that's what being beautiful is. It shouldn't matter what others' opinions are. It should always matter how you feel and what you feel like makes you happy and makes you seem that way.
What I think it means to be beautiful, I think it is more in fact just you being yourself. I think everybody has a true beauty. I don't think it's a defined definition or a certain thing. I just feel like that, you know, I think you're more beautiful if you don't try to be somebody else and you just try to be yourself.
For me, it's more about what people have inside them and what they can do for other people and what they show to others. For me, that's the true beauty of someone, and not just the external part or how you dress or how you. It's more about how you act and how you treat people than what you dress on. I'm from Venezuela.
Venezuela?
Yeah.
All right, what would you say is the beauty standard back there compared to here in America?
Mostly about how girls dress themselves. So if you see a girl with a dress, it's more likely to be more attractive than a girl with jeans. And I guess we have many stereotypes with girls. Also, the way that they talk. And I think here, like, there's more freedom to it, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's more freedom, and I don't know, everyone can be whoever they want here. In my society, it's pretty different.
Where are you from?
I'm from Nigeria. Think about it. Okay, I think being beautiful has to do with the mind. Beautiful does not have to do with the physical structure, although the society tends to make it look like being physically attractive. But for me, being beautiful has to do with the mind, has to do with the relationship with your peers. I believe, just as the Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. So being beautiful has to come from the heart, in the mind. So if you're beautiful inward, you radiate beauty outward.
I think that both this idea of beauty, whether that's feminine beauty or masculine handsomeness, a lot of that has to do with physical appearances. So how tiny your waist is, how big your butt is, how big your boobs are, how muscular you are. I think we're getting better about this idea that beauty can be something that's internal, but I do think a lot of our beauty standards still come from what you physically.
Society thinks that you have to be aesthetically pleasing to the eye, to be beautiful or to be handsome. You have to look a certain way. It's like women, you have to be like curvy, but you need to be slim, but then you need to have boobs, or you need to have butt, or just all of these figures, like you need to have an hourglass figure, and that's not really defined as beautiful. And then for men per se, it's just like, oh, you have to have a six-pack, you have to work out, you have to look a certain way. So I think society thinks you have to be aesthetic pleasing to the eye.
Okay. Do you think there's such a thing as like internal beauty, or is that something that people could work on?
I think there is a thing such as internal beauty. It's like your personality. Some people may not look at what you have on your appearance per se on the outside, but they like your personality. So there's things that people could work on if they want to have internal beauty, because some people might just be superficial on the surface level. Okay, this is how I look, but they might not be a great person. So for me, basically, beauty tends to be what is your personality and how do you treat others. More to say than based on your appearance.
For guys, we're supposed to be these buff, jock types, and just really supposed to have like the big muscle, the toned body, like abs and stuff like that. And I think being someone that doesn't have that, people kind of look at you differently when you don't look like the traditional guy, you don't have the abs or you don't have the muscles. You kind of get made fun of for that.
Okay.
I think it's got its own ideas. To me, beauty is more of an inside thing than an outside thing. I mean, handsome and pretty, those are superficial terms. But beauty is inside, not just outward.
Could you elaborate more on that? Like how, like, you mean like, does it mean like having a good personality or having morals?
Like caring about other people, caring about the world around you. Just, I don't know a great way to phrase it, but that's...
Okay. What do you think it means to be beautiful or considered handsome? Or do you think society has its own idea or agenda with that?
I think society has its own idea and agenda with that. Like the perfect person or the beautiful person is the person you see on magazine covers, thin and long, beautiful hair and plastic surgery nose kind of thing.
Okay. Do you think that people need to work more on their inner beauty, like character-wise?
Definitely. A lot of people need to work on their inner beauty because you can be beautiful on the outside and you can be the most horrific person on the inside.
Good answer. Okay. Let's see. Do you think there's more pressure on guys to look a certain way, girls to look a certain way, or do you think it's both?
I really do think it's both. I don't think it's as bad with men, but I do think society places a lot of pressure on both genders to look a certain way and to act a certain way.
Okay. And last thing, what advice would you give to someone who is struggling with that, like saying like, oh, I need to go on some massive diet, or I need to like take roids or something like that?
I think that they should just be themselves and not worry about what other people are saying about them. I really think it's important that if you feel comfortable in your skin and you feel comfortable with what you're wearing or what you look like, to not listen to what anyone else says.
All right, thank you.
Society will always have its own agendas on anything. We think it is beautiful. Everybody has their own idea of what is beautiful. Personally, for me, I see that for every other individual, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So one may find one thing beautiful and another may not. So society sort of tries to force people to have this idea of what beauty should be, kind of not including all the other characteristics others may have. If you are unhappy with the way you look and you want to change it for yourself, do it. There's no such thing as not being perfect, because you're only perfect in your own eyes, but you should be happy about seeing yourself. If you want to improve yourself, if you want to lose weight, if you want to, get all dolled up and go out of town with your friends, do it because it makes you happy, not because you think it's going to get a guy or get you some certain, I don't even have the word for it, but you should be happy being yourself, because there's always going to be people in the world that are going to wish to be you. So, kind of sounded a little weird, but be happy being yourself.
What advice would you give to somebody who's struggling with those kinds of things, like saying like, oh my gosh, I don't look like this person in GQ or Vogue, I gotta go on some crazy diet?
Well, those people don't look that way either. That's Photoshop. Like, I would say, be you. You're pretty no matter what you are. Society's going to tell you to change no matter what you do, so you might as well just be yourself.
Okay.
I know it's hard, but you just have to let people think what they're going to think or say what they're going to say, and you really just have to do what's right for you. If, I don't have the traditional masculine body, and I just let it go what people say, and I think you really have to build that resistance in yourself and just not let what people say bother you.
Don't focus on what society wants you to be. Focus on who you want to be, and if you want to look a certain way, that's up to you. Just don't try to strive to fit those standards, because not everyone's an individual, so everyone will look different, act different. So just don't focus on what other people will like. Just focus on yourself.
It'll sound cliche, but not to care about what other people think. Before you can love somebody else, you have to be able to love yourself. So however long that takes, take all the time you need. That includes appreciating how you look on the outside, but also appreciating who you are as an individual, what makes you you. And also just being happy. That also has to do with this idea of being able to be alone. And being alone doesn't equate to being lonely, but you should be able to be happy being by yourself just as much as you're happy being surrounded by friends and family.
Just act like the way you want to act, and you can be a serious person just being gay. I mean, there's no stereotyping or no rules. Basically, just be yourself and just let everyone know your situation. And I mean, there might be people that will tell you that, or they won't accept you, but there are more people that are willing to help you. Just be your friends, I guess.
Find things that make you happy. If it's just a weight type thing or just looks, do what you can to improve them. But just always make sure your personal well-being is what makes you put a smile on your face every day.